Diane Olson had never asked for much. A quiet morning on the dock with coffee and loons, the smell of pine needles baking in July sun, the creak of the old screen door when her boys came running in from swimming, shouting, "Grandma, watch me cannonball." That was enough. The lake house on Pelican Lake, Minnesota, had been in the Olson family since 1952. Her husband, Tom, bought it for $12,000 the year they married, a run-down fishing cabin with a leaky roof and a wood stove that smoked if the wind came from the west. Together, they turned it into something out of a postcard. White clapboard, green tin roof, wrap-around porch with red geraniums spilling from the rail boxes. They raised two boys there, Matthew and Luke. Summers, barefoot, winters, cross-country skiing across the frozen bay. When Tom died of a heart attack at 59, Diane kept the place going alone, sanding floors, patching screens, painting the shutters every spring, like a prayer. She never remarried. The boys needed her, she told herself. Then the boys needed college money, then weddings, then down payments on houses in Edina and Wayzata, with granite islands and 3-car garages. Each time she wrote a check, she told herself it was an investment in family. Each time she watched the balance in her savings shrink, she looked out at the lake and felt the water give her strength back. By the spring she turned 68, the cabin was paid off, the boys were successful, Matt a corporate attorney, Luke a software sales VP, and Diane had exactly $112,000 left to her name. She figured that would be enough to fix the boathouse roof, replace the 30-year-old furnace, and keep her comfortable until the end. Then came the cough that wouldn't leave. Then the scan. Then the oncologist in Duluth saying words like stage 4 and aggressive and months, not years. Diane drove home in silence, windows down, May air whipping her gray hair. She parked at the lake house, walked straight to the end of the dock, and sat with her feet in the water until the loons started calling at twilight. She wasn't afraid of dying. She was afraid of dying alone in a hospital bed while her grandchildren asked Alexa to play their favorite songs. So she made one last plan. She called Matt and Luke on a 3-way call, the kind they used when they needed her to babysit on the same weekend. "Boys," she said, voice steady, "I want one more summer at the lake. All of us. No phones, no work, no excuses. June through August. The dock's new planks need christening, and I want to teach Ellie and Jack how to clean a walleye the right way. I want Sunday pancakes and Tuesday night bonfires and the 4th of July fireworks from the pontoon like when you were little. This is my dying wish." There was a pause long enough for her to hear the lake lapping the shore behind her. Matt spoke first. "Mom, I wish we could, but Sarah already booked Coachella VIP passes for the girls. It's a mother-daughter bonding thing, non-refundable." Luke jumped in. "And we promised Ashley's parents we'd do Europe this summer. 2 weeks in Greece, then the Amalfi Coast. The kids have been saving their allowances for 18 months. We literally leave June 1st. Diane closed her eyes. She could picture it. Her daughter-in-law Sarah in a flower crown and designer bikini, sipping overpriced rosé while influencers took photos. Ashley posting Instagram stories from cliffside infinity pools with captions about living my best life. She waited for them to offer a compromise. A long weekend, a week in July, anything. Nothing came. "Okay," she said softly. "I understand." She hung up before they could hear her cry. 2 days later, she met with Rachel Carter, director of Haven House, the battered women's shelter in Brainerd. Rachel was 42, tattooed, tough as nails, and the only person Diane had ever met who could cry and cuss in the same sentence. Diane slid a manila folder across the table. Inside, the deed to the lake house, appraised at $1.4 million, free and clear. "It's yours," Diane said, "lock, stock, and barrel.
Turn it into a safe place for mothers and kids who need to start over. Teach them to fish. Let them sleep in till 9 on Saturdays. Give them what I thought I was giving my own family. Rachel tried to push the folder back. Diane, this is insane. This is your home. It's a house, she corrected. Home is something else entirely. She signed the papers the next week. Quiet title transfer, irrevocable donation, no way for anyone to contest it after she was gone. Then she did something nobody expected. She booked herself on a 21-day inside passage cruise to Alaska, departing Seattle on June 10th. Solo cabin with a balcony. She packed one suitcase, her medications, and Tom's old fishing hat. She left her cell phone in the kitchen drawer. On June 1st, the exact day Luke's family flew to Athens, she drove to Duluth, mailed the shelter keys to Rachel with a handwritten note that said, "Let the healing begin," and got on a plane to Seattle. The ship was called the Nordic Star. Diane stood at the rail as it pulled away from Pier 66, watching the Seattle skyline disappear. The wind tasted like salt and freedom. On the second night at sea, she went to the Crow's Nest bar for a quiet glass of wine. A man at the end of the bar raised his glass to her. He was maybe 70, tall, silver-haired, wearing a faded Denali National Park hoodie. His eyes were the color of glacier ice. "Mind if I join you?" he asked. "My wife passed 2 years ago. First cruise alone. Feels strange drinking to the sunset by myself." Diane smiled for the first time in weeks. "Please, I'm in the same strange boat." His name was Eric Lindstrom, retired salmon fisherman from Sitka, widowed. 3 grown daughters who texted him memes but rarely called. He knew every cove from Ketchikan to Skagway. He could tie a bowline knot blindfolded and make sourdough pancakes that floated off the griddle. By the time the ship reached Juneau, they were sharing a table for 2 at dinner. By Glacier Bay, they were holding hands under the midnight sun. By Sitka, Eric was asking if she'd consider extending her trip. "I have a little house on the water," he said. "Nothing fancy. Extra bedroom, with a view of Mount Edgecombe. I make a mean king crab benedict on Sundays, and the guest bed is awfully big for 1 person." Diane laughed until she cried. Back in Minnesota, the bomb detonated exactly as she knew it would. Matt got a letter from the title company in mid-July. Luke got the same. They opened them together at Matt's kitchen island, kids running underfoot, wives scrolling Instagram. The lake house was gone, transferred, owned now by Haven House, Inc. No mortgage, no liens, no recourse. Matt called the attorney. The attorney confirmed the signatures were Diane's, witnessed, notarized, airtight. Luke tried her cell, straight to voicemail, for weeks. Sarah posted a tearful Instagram story, feeling heartbroken and confused right now. Family is everything. Likes poured in. Ashley started a GoFundMe titled "Help Us Buy Back Grandma's Lake House for the Kids' Memories," and raised $4,300 before it was reported and shut down for fraud. They hired a private investigator. He found a Seattle boarding pass and a cruise itinerary. After that, nothing. Diane had vanished like smoke. On August 15th, a postcard arrived at Matt's house. No return address. Postmarked Sitka, Alaska. It showed a watercolor painting of a red fishing boat against purple mountains. On the back, in Diane's neat schoolteacher handwriting, "Boys, the lake house is finally being used the way I always hoped, full of mothers and children learning they are worth more than they were told. I have found a new dock. The coffee is strong, the pancakes are better than mine ever were, and someone calls me honey in the mornings without being asked. I have maybe months left, maybe years. Either way, they are mine now. Be kind to your wives. Teach your children gratitude before it's too late.
I loved you with everything I had. Now I'm using what's left on myself. Love always, Mom. P.S. Balloons here sound exactly the same. In Sitka, Diane woke each morning to the smell of salt air and frying bacon. Eric kissed her forehead and handed her coffee in a chipped mug that said, "World's best grandma." She laughed every time. Some mornings, her breathing hurt. Some mornings, the pain pills made her sleepy by noon. But every evening, she sat on Eric's deck, wrapped in a wool blanket, watching the sun sink into the Pacific, ravens calling overhead. She never answered the letters that started arriving in September, thick envelopes with apologies and promises and pleas. She was too busy learning how to mend nets, how to dance to 70s music in sock feet, how it felt to be someone's priority instead of their obligation. One October night, the aurora borealis lit up the sky in green and purple ribbons. Eric carried her in a blanket to the end of his dock because she was too weak to walk far. "Look, my love," he whispered. Diane watched the lights dance over the water and felt something settle in her chest that wasn't cancer. She was home. She died the following February, peacefully, in her sleep, with Eric holding her hand and the window open so she could hear the eagles. The obituary in the Sitka Sentinel was short and perfect. Diane Marie Olsen Lindstrom, beloved wife, fierce friend, and the best damn pancake partner a man ever had. She finally got her summer. Back in Minnesota, two grown sons stood on a dock that no longer belonged to them, watching children they'd never met fish off the end with bright orange life jackets. They finally understood the difference between a house and a home. They were too late.